This week in the parish of bourses and market structure, MiCA is born. The European Union have created crypto regulation. ICE CDS, their CCP, is moving to the USA, and Hong Kong exchanges make a great Connect leap forward as the LSEG loses another senior staffer. My name is Patrick L. Young. Welcome to the Bourse Business Weekly Digest. It's the Exchange Invest Weekly Podcast, episode 151. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very brief reduction of highlights amongst the key headlines from the week in market structure. All the analysis of the many events and happenings from the past 7 days can be found in Exchange Invest's daily subscriber newsletter, the unique guide to the bourse business sent daily to your inbox. More details at exchangeinvest.com. SEBI have been back in slamming and fining once again. The NSE dark fibre case, part of the Holy Hoax fiasco, saw Chitra Ramkrishna, the NSE itself, and 16 others found guilty in the plethora of cases pertaining to this ongoing fiasco. Overall, we published a note this week on the Holy Hoax fines. They now total over $7 million. You can read that on LinkedIn Medium, and of course, days earlier, you could read it in the Exchange Invest newsletter. Over in Hong Kong, they've had some excellent news. True, there might be issues in terms of the number of IPOs right now, but in the wake of a visit from Premier Xi, the great news is that the exchange has a live, working ETF Connect, and coming soon, perhaps the most exciting of them all, they're going to have Swap Connect joining the yield curves of China and Hong Kong. Seismic news as well from ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange, will cease CDS clearing in London in March 2023. They announced that ahead of the Independence Day weekend. It's nothing like the false attributions of Paul Revere's pithy shouts, "The English are coming." Rather, it's more like, take your CCP before Brussels makes another kamikaze move. Top marks on this to the consistently excellent Hugh Jones of Reuters, who scooped this story in March. The European Union may have a degree of spurned spouse joy at pushing a line of CDX clearing ex-London, but in the end, Europe is the loser here, and this ought to be a serious shot across the bows of all, including that stubborn, hyper-ambitious Commissioner McGuinness. The parish is a global market, and Europe just isn't the place people want to be forced to do business. New markets this week. The Hindustan Power Exchange, they've got final CERC approval to start operations, while Kenya is in a partnership to set up its first carbon exchange. Air Carbon Exchange is going to be joining with the Nairobi Financial Centre and the Nairobi Stock Exchange to create the first carbon offset exchange in the country. Excellent move for ACX on that one, and also great news from the nascent Nairobi Financial Centre. Deals news this week. Well, Fonterra, NZX and EEX have confirmed their GDT at strategic partnership. That's the global dairy trade business. Excellent deal all round. Elsewhere, Land Bank are leaving their acquisition bid for the bond trading platform PDEX in the Philippines up to the incoming president, Bongbong Marcos. Crypto exchange FTX, they've been rescuing just about everything that's going recently. Their latest is a $640 million deal that they're going to be acquiring BlockFi. That led to an excellent headline in Zero Hedge. Does Sam Bankman-Fried own everything now? That was their recap of last week's top crypto news. Has to be said, as I noted previously in Exchange Invest, with the various endeavours of Sam Bankman-Fried's organisation, one is left to realise that $250 million spent here, $250 million spent there, $650 million spent hither and thither. Sooner or later, you're talking about real money. Talking about real money, how do you understand the future of money? Don't forget to pick up a copy of my book, Victory or Death, Blockchain, Cryptocurrency and the FinTech World. That's published by DV Advisors, and it is distributed by Ingram Worldwide. Don't forget, while you're waiting for that copy to arrive, you can always pick up online the highlights from the most recent IPO-VIDs, and there have been some absolute crackers recently, including most recently Mark Shadle defending the data economy, coming up after an Independence Day break on July the 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have John Kim discussing CBDC and the future of money. Stay tuned. You can find those on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube Live. Highlights are on youtube.com. Search for IPO-VID. In crypto land, Coinbase are seeking licenses across Europe as they look to ramp up growth in the wake of losing 18% of their payroll in swinging salary cuts recently. In addition to the headcount cuts, we've had some huge problems across the cryptosphere this week. Multiple different exchanges and market platforms unable to allow people to withdraw their hard-earned digital currency. Technology news this week. Very interesting to see what's happened with DYDX. They become the first major crypto derivatives exchange announcing that they will leave the Ethereum ecosystem and launch their own blockchain. That's an encouraging vindication, I feel, of my It's So Last Year thesis on version 1.0 blockchains. I hope vendors touting they're all singing and all dancing but ether-centric reliant blockchain solutions will be taking note. Regulation news this week, of course, dominated by MiCA, the European Union reaching agreement on a strict crypto regulation requiring data collection. That data deal has been struck to regulate cryptocurrencies and their infrastructure, with firms operating in an EU state given 18 months after the start date at the end of 2023 to get their MiCA licenses without disruption to services.
There's only one daily news source for the business of bourses, Exchange Invest, the exchange of information. Exchange Invest publishes the daily digest of everything in the market structure industry around the world in a user-friendly email briefing format from Monday to Friday. With additional pith by former Exchange CEO and long-standing fintech pioneer Patrick L. Young, yes, that's me, Exchange Invest is the unique one-stop shop for the daily news in markets, market operators and related functions. Exchange Invest is available to subscribers at $200 per user per year or currency equivalent. You can get more details at exchangeinvest.com or email me, patrick@derivativesvision.com.
Career paths this week, confirmation from ICE of a slate of promotions, most notably those we've covered previously. Stuart Williams heads up from heading the European offices to become ICE's new global COO. Tribune Bland is ICE's global futures exchange head. Chris Rhodes becomes ICE Futures Europe president in a new announcement. All the very best to Chris. And equally a new announcement, Jennifer Ilkiff is going to become ICE Futures US president. You can of course catch Tribune Bland from IPO-VID episode 58 via all the usual platforms. Big shock at the LSEG. The head of data has left after a year in the job. That's Andrea Remon-Stone. She's stepped down from the role of Group Head Data and Analytics, which was previously occupied by the Refinitiv CEO David Craig. It is a bit of a wonder, the idea that you have one single department that seems to be 65% of the revenue. The problem here could well have stemmed from the fact that it's not 65% of the growth. In fact, it doesn't seem to be any of the growth whatsoever. And certainly Andrea Remon-Stone, with her empire building, did seem to have created some problems for herself, hardly demonstrating the most resolute activity in terms of cost containment, let alone cost reduction. Meanwhile, the LSEG issued a note which kept insisting that everything was going terribly well, terribly well, terribly well, terribly well, and again and again and again. The more often the LSEG repeat this, the less credible it sadly seems. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, it's very interesting to compare a tale of two defaults in this world. Argentina has run out of hard cash. Russia has been run out of the Western financial system. And meanwhile, China has taken note and created a new facility via the Bank for International Settlements. Watch this space. Mega macro-political developments are taking place in front of our very eyes. And on that mysterious and magnificent note, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Patrick L. Young. I wish you all a great week in blockchain, life and markets. The Exchange Invest Weekly podcast will return for episode 152 next week.
This show relates to the business of bourses. It is not to be construed as investment advice, nor are we making any investment recommendations. Please consult an investment advisor before you make any investments, and for goodness sake, do your due diligence and do not make investments without complying with the regulations in your home state. Exchange Invest cannot be held responsible for any investment decisions made as a result of our program, which is for entertainment purposes only. The material herein is copyright Patrick L. Young at the date of publication, while our music and sound effects are sourced from copyright-free sources. Thanks for listening to Exchange Invest Weekly, the exchange of information.